माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल। इस गौरवशाली परंपरा की विरासत को तीन समाज सुधारक माने पूना के स्वर्गीय श्री राव बहादुर हनुमंत राम जी राठी जी, सातारा के स्वर्गीय श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण जी जाजू जी और कराड़ के स्वर्गीय श्री किशन लाल जी लाहोटी जी, इन दूरदर्शी अग्रदूतों ने जारी रखा और इसका सार्थक परिणाम था माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल। जरूरतमंद और सराहनीय माहेश्वरी युवाओं को छात्रवृत्ति, ऋण छात्रवृत्ति, छात्रावास, स्वावलंबन कार्यक्रम, सिविल सर्विसेज गाइडेंस से लेकर महिला सशक्तिकरण और सकारात्मक सामाजिक परिवर्तन लाने की दिशा में माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल पिछले 95 वर्षों से अपना अमूल्य योगदान दे रहा है। माहेश्वरी समाज के युवाओं तथा युवतियों को शिक्षा एवं उनके उज्जवल भविष्य बनाने के हेतु उनकी सहायता करना और समाज के सभी वर्गों के युवाओं को बिना किसी जटिलता के राज्य के कोने कोने में हर प्रकार की शिक्षा का अवसर निर्माण करना, ये एमवीपीएम का ध्येय है। छात्रवृत्ति स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम के माध्यम से जरूरतमंद और सराहनीय युवाओं को छात्रवृत्ति, ऋण छात्रवृत्ति, पुरस्कार की सुविधा उपलब्ध कराई जाती है ताकि वे बिना किसी बाधा के अपनी पढ़ाई कर सके। हर साल ऐसे 50 से 600 छात्र और छात्राओं को लगभग 1.25 से 1.5 करोड़ की राशि छात्रवृत्ति के रूप में एमवीपीएम के द्वारा वितरित की जाती है। एमवीपीएम मानता है कि शिक्षा जीवन की तैयारी नहीं, अपने आप में एक जीवन है। लैपटॉप वितरण। एमवीपीएम ने लैपटॉप वितरण की एक नई पहल की है। इस पहल के तहत मई 2022 में 100 लैपटॉप बांटे गए, जिसके मुख्य दानदाता श्री मुकुंद भवन ट्रस्ट के ट्रस्टी श्री पुरुषोत्तम जी लोहिया और उनका परिवार था। इस पहल को जबरदस्त प्रतिक्रिया मिलने के कारण और छात्रों के माता पिता की बढ़ती मांग के कारण एमवीपीएम ने इस पहल को बड़े पैमाने पर आयोजित करने का फैसला किया। हाल ही में पूर्णार्थ इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजरी के संस्थापक और अध्यक्ष श्री राहुल कुमार जी राठी ने अन्य 100 लैपटॉप्स दान किए। इससे प्रेरित होकर कई और दानदाता इस पहल में भाग ले रहे हैं। एमवीपीएम ने लैपटॉप वितरण की एक नई पहल की है। स्वावलंबन, ये एमवीपीएम की विशिष्टपूर्ण अनूठी पहल है, जिसका उद्देश्य उन माहेश्वरी छात्र और छात्रा युवाओं के जीवन को उन्नत कर बदलना है जो वित्तीय और अन्य कठिनाइयों के कारण शिक्षा लेने में असमर्थ है और शिक्षा से वंचित रह गए हैं। ऐसे होनहार युवाओं के भविष्य को संवारने की पूरी जिम्मेदारी एमवीपीएम लेता ही है, लेकिन इसके अलावा उन्हें कौशल आधारित प्रशिक्षण प्रदान करना, भोजन और आवास की सुविधा प्रदान करना और अपने आप को स्वावलंबी बनाने के लिए स्वयं को स्थापित करने में उनकी सहायता करता है। इसी विश्वास और धारणा के अनुसार स्वावलंबन योजना माहेश्वरी युवाओं को अधिक रोजगार योग्य या व्यवसाय के लिए तैयार करने का प्रयास करती है। सिविल सर्विसेज, विभिन्न सिविल सेवा परीक्षाओं के बारे में माहेश्वरी युवाओं के बीच जागरूकता पैदा करने के विचार से एमवीपीएम पुणे ने वर्ष 2014 में सिविल सेवा कार्यक्रम शुरू किया। सिविल सर्विसेज ऑप्शंस और करियर के बारे में जागृति लाना और मार्गदर्शन करना इसका प्रमुख उद्देश्य है। इस कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत जो विद्यार्थी यूपीएससी या एमपीएससी परीक्षा देना चाहते हैं, एमवीपीएम उनके लिए कोई सुविधाएं प्रदान करती है। इस कार्यक्रम का लाभ आज तक सैकड़ों माहेश्वरी युवाओं ने प्राप्त किया है और कुछ विद्यार्थी भारतीय प्रशासनिक सेवा के सम्माननीय पद पर विराजमान हैं। एमवीपीएम सेतु शिक्षा और खेल के क्षेत्र से योग्य माहेश्वरी उम्मीदवारों के लिए क्राउड फंडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म है। हम समुदाय से उत्पन्न क्राउड फंडिंग के माध्यम से माहेश्वरी के इच्छुक उम्मीदवारों का तहे दिल से समर्थन करना चाहते हैं। हम इस प्लेटफॉर्म के जरिए शैक्षिक सपनों और वास्तविकता के बीच के अंतर को मिटाना चाहते हैं। मिशन, माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल की स्थापना के बाद से गत 100 सालों में संगठन ने एमवीपीएम की नींव रखने वाले 3 अग्रदूतों के दृष्टिकोण को पूरा करने के लिए अपने सभी प्रयासों को लगातार निर्देशित किया है। ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में रहने वाले माहेश्वरी छात्र और छात्रा युवाओं को उपयुक्त कौशल आधारित प्रशिक्षण और शिक्षा देकर उन्हें आत्मनिर्भर बनाने की एक समृद्ध पहल माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल। माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल।
So good evening, and depending upon which part of the globe you have joined in from, good morning and good afternoon. This is MIC's 8th or ninth session in a row on the various different subjects that we've been covering across the spectrum since the last almost 12 months now. And it's my pleasure and honor to start this session for all of us. Next slide for me. I want to take this opportunity to very quickly give all of you, and I won't take too much time, give some sense of what the MVPM International Connect, MIC as we typically call it, is all about. Essentially, the whole purpose of MIC is to enhance the reach of MVPM across the international Maheshwari community. That's primarily why the MIC was created under the banner of MVPM. And the whole purpose of how we are going to be doing this is we have created 6 different verticals, if I might use that word, where there are going to be self-help groups related to students, which will basically be for education abroad and for parents, either of children who are already there for studies or for vocation, as the case may be employment or business, either of them. Then we have a vertical for professionals. We have a vertical for business persons. We also have a vertical for persons who have relocated back to India after having a stint in the outside India. So after an international stint. And finally, our most recent addition has been the International Travelers group. The International Travelers group is more dedicated for even for people who are going to take short travels, maybe for business, maybe casual travel, maybe to visit relatives. It doesn't matter what the purpose of the travel is. But the idea is that if anybody is looking at some help, some guidance, or some local support, this group should start to fulfill that purpose, right? All right, next slide, please. So like I mentioned to you that there are these 6 different verticals. From a student standpoint, obviously that is the core for MVPM. And what we essentially are therefore looking at covering there is giving information or providing information related to studies abroad. Our session today is predominantly under this particular vertical. In fact, this session is the first of a series of 6 different sessions that we will have where we're looking at covering varied aspects, and we'll talk more about it as we go into the session today. So intent here is to give you information related to universities and courses across the globe, and also give information or facilitate internships and professional careers outside India. The professional vertical is related to career opportunities both in and outside India. The reason I say in is there is a lot of professional talent outside India who are looking at relocating back. And that's the reason we are specifically saying that these are for career opportunities for people who want to relocate back as well. Then, of course, we are all Maheshwaris, we are all predominantly business people, and therefore, entrepreneurship is the core for everything that we do. So, anything in terms of entrepreneurship opportunities is something that gets covered as well. The natural progression from there goes into the business personnel, where the focus is exclusively on import and export, and of course, investment opportunities as well. Mind you, I want to just add here that here for each of these verticals, there are subgroups divided for specific continents. So we have 5 different subgroups under each of these verticals so that you can interact with the relevant people in that particular group. So there's a subgroup for Africa, there's a subgroup for North America, there's a subgroup for uh, Asia and Middle East. So those kind of groups have been created specifically. Parents, the group for parents is dedicated for 2 different segments. One is people who are going and staying with their children if their children are abroad. The second part is for people whose wards have relocated outside India, and parents are only here as without their children, and therefore they need a lot of support. And sometimes they also have anxiety about how their children or how their wards are doing. So this group enables that particular piece of communication and support for them. Fifth, I used to typically say lastly, but this is no longer lastly, the relocated personnel. So I know of quite a few people who've had maybe 10, 12, 15 years of experience outside India and have now come back to India. And a lot of them are in Pune because Pune happens to be the bed for a lot of professional and personal growth as well, right? So relocated personnel, again, either they have career opportunities here or they would be looking for business opportunities here, right? Lastly, like I said, our latest addition, the youngest kid on the block, as I would call it, the Globetrotters. These are for short and long term duration travel. It does not matter who the person is. Typically, we have found that these are mostly parents who are joining in onto these groups. So that's essentially the 6 different verticals that we have. The idea for each of these groups is to share your knowledge and look for information within that. MVPM is being only a facilitator. We are not trying to be any experts. We are not trying to be professionals trying to set up anything here. Our focus as MVPM continues to remain the students and, of course, attracting the right kind of people to get associated with MVPM in its mission to reach education to every Maheshwari child, right? Okay, next slide, please. So, how can you get associated with us? We want you to be our brand ambassadors in the different geographies and help us grow this network. Our desire is that every Maheshwari who's got an international connect or is a global Maheshwari should get connected with us through these groups. And that's basically why we are pushing onto this idea, right? That's our little expectation from you. That we don't expect any more. Yeah. Next slide. All right. So from this point on, I am where, as you know, this session is in hybrid mode. So we have a few people in the room here, and there are a lot more people who have joined online. I am transferring the mic to Pranavji Charkha. You can unmute Pranavji, Pranav Charkha. Pranavji, you can unmute yourself probably. Is he there? हाँ हाँ ऊपर 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 ऊपर. Pranavji,
Yeah,
are you able to hear me?
thank you. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, all right. So over to you. Pranavji is part of the steering team of MIC, and he is going to introduce our August speakers today. So over to you, Pranavji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anand sir. Thank you. Um, it's my fortune to introduce the speakers, eminent speakers for today's uh, session, the first of the session in the series. And I'm proud to introduce you the first speaker or the speakers, the Miss Pratiksha Malani Sab. Ma'am is born in Solapur district of Maharashtra. She's married to Dr. Milind Sabu. She did her bachelor's in business administration and master's in marketing management from Sinhagad Institute's SPPU University. She's certified in digital marketing. She worked as business development executive with Kingston Pune, as a social media manager in IKF Pune, also at Nethroti Technologies, Nashik. She worked as a tutor for 11th, 12th, and for undergrad students. She worked as a social worker for an NGO in Nashik. Right now, she is currently holding a position of director and counselor at Impel Overseas Consultants Limited, India's leading study abroad consultancy located in Nashik. We welcome you, ma'am. The other eminent speaker for today's session is Mr. Amrut Bhutada. He hails from Jamkhandi, Karnataka, and completed his schooling at a boarding school in Akluj, Maharashtra. He pursued his intermediate studies in Pune and earned a bachelor degree in pharmacy from Belgaum, followed by a master's degree in pharmacy from UK. With 4 years of valuable experience studying and working in UK, Amritsar has gained deep insight into international education landscape. Since 2018, he has served as a director at Impel Overseas, working alongside his wife, CA Poonam Bhutra, who leads as an operation head. Together, they are committed to guiding students through their journey of studying abroad, offering expert advice to help them achieve their global educational goals. We welcome both the speakers, both the panelists, both the guiding persons today for this session. Over to you, Anand sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Pranavji. for introducing these wonderful panelists that we have with us today. I am not going to take any more time and directly hand over to Amrutji from here to take us through the exciting journey. I'm already looking forward to this, like I had talked to him about it, that this is season one, episode one today for us. And hopefully, we'll have many more to get into deep insights on every particular aspect related to study abroad. Over to Amrutji first.
No worries, no worries. Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the MVPM team for having us here. It is truly an honor to be a part of this platform within the Maheshwari community. I'm sure it is one of its kind and going to be an unique and significant experience for us. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Amrut Butada, Business Head and Director at Impel Overseas Consultants Limited, Hyderabad. At Impel Overseas, we have been in the forefront of recruiting students to foreign universities since 2006. And so far, we have recruited around 15,000 plus students, offering them services right from pre-admission to post-landing services. And we are still continuing to empower students. Today, I'll be co-leading this session along with Mrs. Pratiksha Sabu and share some important facts about studying overseas. So we all know that education is the most powerful tool in our life. But what really happens when we take this education beyond borders is what we are going to talk about. Okay, so before we go ahead, I know that we don't see any of the parents here, but probably if has any of the parent been to a foreign country for their education? Maybe anyone from any parent who is attending online by any chance? Okay, fine, no worries. So before we move ahead, as earlier introduced about myself, I have had an first-hand experience of studying, working, living in the UK for almost 4 years. So probably I would definitely would like to share some of the experiences as we move ahead with this session. Okay, now I'll just share about the topics that we are going to discuss it today. So these are the few topics that we are going to cover it up. So why should one choose overseas education, myths, top destination, student stats, and the key factors while choosing a study destination, and why there is a need for consultation for foreign studies or the application life cycle that we call about, which will be followed by questions and answers. Okay, now why overseas education? So now there are many factors that are involved before choosing overseas education, and we are going to share most of them here. The first and the foremost, the important thing that before choosing an overseas education is international exposure. Now, international exposure is nothing but the international education. So, what we usually see in the Indian education system is they emphasize more on the theoretical part, and what foreign education has to share, or they have. So they emphasize more on the practical knowledge than the theoretical part. Now, apart from the education, the international education also allows you to collaborate with students and professors from across the different countries. So wherein you're trying to interact with them day in day out, wherein you're trying to improve your networking skills. Moreover, these networking skills, you don't know when you get into a better network with each other, and you never know, maybe after 3 years, 4 years down the line, this network of you can be useful at any time. So this is another thing. And apart from this, let's say that as you know that all the students who have been into overseas education, they also have to get on with the part-time job. Now part-time job makes you not only independent, but it also helps you to manage the money management. So apart from money management, you also tend to gain the skills such as money management skills, interpersonal skills, your thought process skills changes. Ultimately, that will help you to develop personal as well as professional skills, which will help you in the future jobs. Okay. Now, career opportunities. Now, many of the countries, after the completion of the course, they allow you to work for almost 2 years, which will help you to gain experience in the field that you have studied from. Now, there is always a thing that, are the jobs available? But yes, there are ample jobs available in diverse industries, right from entry level to senior level, based on the experience that you hold. So it is nothing that, there are no jobs available. And moreover, the best part is once you complete or once you have experience in one particular industry, you are allowed to switch in between industry and are also allowed to switch the countries when it comes to European countries. Okay. Now, access to better technology and excellent infrastructure. Okay, so when it comes to better technology and excellent infrastructure, what do we actually look for? A modern classroom, modern laboratories with advanced machineries, sports facilities, health facilities, gymnasium. Then you have free transport to the city centers, hostels, and departmental stores. So probably these kind of facilities are also available in the Indian campuses. But the only thing is, probably may not be that all the facilities are available, but now what we can see, the infrastructure facilities is to the another level. If you see the state of the art facilities over there is altogether different than what you have here in India. Okay, now this also reminds me of the libraries, what we had during our education. So the libraries were divided into 3 different zones: red zone, yellow zone, and the green zone. So red zone is for those students who usually tend to study, do a self study, and the yellow zone was specifically dedicated for students who are involved into studying in a group of 2 or 3, and the green zone was for students who are involved in this group study of 6 to 7, but they are also allowed to use gadgets and they have easy access to cafeteria, which makes them much more easier to connect with them and work together. Okay, now curriculum designed as per the industry needs. Now, guess what? I do understand, whatever the modules, whatever is taught here in India is most about, uh, there is a specific modules that is designed by the University Grants Commission, which is more focused on the theoretical part. And we are following the same education which has been designed by them. And but what is required, what is the best part when it comes to international education? They are providing the modules where in the modules which are the modules that are interested by the students that helps them in the future's job. Okay, now I remember, there was a time when we were completing our education, when we were our graduation, the state of the facilities what we had in our college were excellent. But when we actually went to an industrial tour, we realized, whatever the instruments or machineries they were used, most of them were, what you can say, they were no longer being used in the real industries. So now what, if at all the instruments or the laboratories are not updated, and that becomes much more difficult for the students when they actually go into real-time jobs. Okay, that is one part. Now, overseas universities, what they do, usually they collaborate with the industries to make sure that whatever the skills they are trying to pass it on to the students, and whatever the instrumentation that are being used, uh, they are the same, so that it makes much more easier for the students when they are actually going for the jobs. Okay, right. Now, extensive range of courses. Now, if you actually see, maybe, most of them you might have, can somebody tell me, what are the major courses that are available in the engineering by any chance? No, I'm talking about specifically the engineering. What are the engineering that you have come across, engineering courses? Correct. So IT, computer science, mechanical, chemical, marine. civil engineering. Now, when it comes to other courses, we have always heard about pharmacy, that can be nursing, marketing, animation, etc. But have you ever thought about, there are so many courses that are beyond our imagination. Sometimes I really get surprised when I come across such kind of courses such as water resource management, AI with machine learning. Nowadays, after the completion of your bachelor's in commerce or BBA, yeah, there are courses such as luxury brand management. Then it is also fashion management, social work. So these are the kind of courses that really attracts the Indian students, and also the job opportunities. What you see is altogether to the par. Now, let us talk about the globally ranked universities. Now, uh, as per the QS ranking 2025, there are so out of 100 ranked universities, whatever we have, uh, the top 23 universities belong to USA. Okay, and the 15 universities are from the UK. Now, rest of the ranked universities are from the rest of the world. But when we talk about the rankings of Indian universities, we see only IITs in the top 200. Now, when we talk about other universities from India, let that be our very own Savitri Bai Phule University, or that can be even Symbiosis. Those also lies between 600 to 700 universities. So they have come right par right now from whatever the rankings they had. I'm sure they will definitely be there in 300 to 400s or maybe in even hundreds, but that will take a long time to go before they actually come into such kind of rankings. Okay. Now, job assistance. Each universities have a dedicated department and a dedicated team, which usually they give such kind of assistance every, let's say every Wednesday or every Tuesday. In our case, it was every Wednesday, wherein they help you to not write the CVs. They guide you how to write the CVs and the resumes and even the covering letter, which ultimately helps you to get the jobs. Now, getting a job is definitely easier as long as you have this thing. This is the most mandatory thing that you require before you apply for the jobs. Now, if you have such kind of opportunities and if such a kind of facilities available in your own university, what else can we look for? Okay. So that's it. Now coming back to student support center. Now each student is quite different from the others. Let's say that there are some students who are very open to the world. They talk, they make friends very easily. There are some students who are, they don't mingle with each others, very easily, or they are when they go over there, they also face racism, or they feel that they are very insecure. In that case, every university has a student support center that helps the students to overcome this kind of difficulties. They make sure that you become a part of an community wherein you interact with each other and make connections with the Indian students, so that the students feel much more comfortable in that particular country, okay, or that particular university. Now, what are the major myths and facts about studying overseas? Okay, so I'm sure that you have heard a lot of whispers nowadays. Getting to foreign universities is quite difficult. Some might say that it is easier, but it can be too expensive, or it can be anything else. So probably we'll just discuss around those myths, trying to make sure that it's just a myth and nothing actually the reality of that particular country or any foreign countries. Now let's talk about a language barrier. Now, as long as you eat, sleep, and drink English, I think there is no language barrier. Now, for any education system that we have, even in India, everything is being taught in English, right? So, in fact, even if you are planning to go overseas, the one mandatory test that you need to give is the English exam. Now, if you're planning to give English exam and if you pass the English exam and you've got the admission in that particular university or that particular country, trust me, that barrier is already gone. So I don't see any other language or any other barrier that comes through. But nowadays there is also a question, what if at all we get admitted in the European universities? Trust me, now almost 80% of the universities teach their mode of education. They teach everything in English completely. Okay. So I don't think the language is going to be any barrier. Now it's only for brilliant students. trust me, I have been an average student throughout my education. From at least in my graduation, I have nothing scored more than 65%. But for me to get admitted into an university in the UK, it was quite easy walk. Probably yes. One thing can be very much sure that if at all you are one of those brilliant students, probably you are eligible to get a better scholarship, a better bursary from the university. But it has got nothing to do that if you are not brilliant, you would not be able to make it to a foreign university. It's definitely a completely a myth. Okay. Now, when it comes to challenging part, now it's extremely challenging. It's at all not at all challenging. Now, let's say our daily routine, whatever. Let's say you get up from the bed. What you find is everything a challenge. Every day there is some or the other challenge that we go through. Similar is the case in any foreign country. Let that be any country, any place, there are going to be challenges. And all you need to be is that, face those challenges. And trust me, it is no challenge. It's just a regular challenge. Just only thing is that, no, the outlook towards the world has to be changed. Okay. If that is changed, trust me, there is no challenge. It's not at all challenging. Now, difficult to dwell with the new culture. I feel that all the Indian students who go from here, and I'm sure that let's talk about any country. Let's say that it's a UK. Now, most of the students who go from India and the most of the students who come from the other countries, everyone, in fact, they would be also feeling that it's very difficult to dwell in the new culture. But I usually feel it's not us who is to feel difficult, it's them. So let's say you're going to UK, it's the people of UK who should feel it difficult, that it's difficult to dwell with us, not the other way around. Because any students or anyone who goes from here to any foreign country, and any other foreign country guy coming to a UK or any other country, they tend to make friends much more easier. So it's difficult. It's not at all difficult to dwell with the new culture. Lack of job opportunities after graduation. Now, uh, trust me, there are ample jobs available after the completion of the course. It is just that, everyone should come out of their comfort zone. What really happens, if at all, I have to give my own example. If at all you are studied in UK, or let me be very specific, that you have studied in London, people tend to look for jobs only in and around London. The problem is you'll have to go out of your comfort zone, try and get a job. Even if you get a job in Scotland or Northern Ireland, which are also a part of UK, you should just grab the opportunity. And if you have that kind of a thing, then I feel you will have ample jobs available. So the last myth, that I want to bring it out in front of you, it's too expensive and there is no ROI. Trust me, there is nothing as such. Probably, I would be able to show you an example. So now if you see here, the tuition fee for the master's degree for 2-year course in India, it's 20 lakhs. And the similar fees for 2-year course in, let's take an example for Australia and UK, is around 35 lakhs. Now, living expenses per year in India, it costs around 3 lakhs and 10 lakhs in overseas. Now, when it comes to part-time job opportunities here in India, most of the students are not very keen to do jobs. But when you talk about the living expenses in overseas, most of the students tend to take the part-time job, and I think each and everyone should definitely take up the part-time job. Now, post-graduation salary, what you get after the completion of your course, on an average, we are talking about, it's 5 to 8 lakhs per year. Okay. Now, if you really see the return of investment, or if you see post-graduation salary after the completion of the course, is 30 to 40 lakhs per year. Okay. Now, so when we talk return of investment, now if you talk about the return of investment here, is that if at all you are taken up job in here in India, it takes almost 4 to 6 years to get your return of investment. Now, if you see the similar, if you see the figure here in overseas, it takes almost 1 to 1.5 years only to get your return of investment. And this is just not an example. I'm just telling you with my own pretty experience what I had studying in the UK. Okay, so I feel it's forget about, let's not even talk about the return of investment when it comes to salary or fees. Even if you say apart from fees, you get to uh, adapt to a lot of other skills that what you cannot learn here in India. Let that can be one of those is money management. One of those could be being independent. So let me come back to the stats. So now if you really see, uh, 1 million Indian students were pursuing higher education in universities in 2023 to pursue overseas education. Now, this is not the data that I am telling you about from my end. This data has been taken out from the Ministry of External Affairs. So if you see here the stats, the number of Indian students studying outside India, so it is mentioned here in millions. If you just see in the year 2021, 7.5 lakh students went overseas. Now, this is the year when we just came out of COVID. Despite that, 7.5 lakh students went overseas for their studies. Now, in 2022, it increased from 7.5 lakhs to almost 9 lakhs, which is high. It is up to, I think there is increase in 25% approximately. And from 2022 to 2023, the number has been increased from 10 lakhs to almost 13 lakhs. So here, if you really see, the trend is almost 40%. There is increase in the numbers trying or who have already were pursuing their studies. It's not that they were planning to pursue, they were already pursuing their studies outside India. I will just further break down here in 2023, the number of Indian students pursuing higher education abroad. If you see Canada, USA, UK, Australia, all together, 11 lakh students went overseas. Okay. And when we talk about other countries, Germany or rest of Europe, it counts up to 1 lakh. Now, basically, this is the just a breakdown of 13 lakhs, and anything which is over and above that, it's rest of the countries that includes UAE, Japan, which we are not talking about here. Now, this number, this is the data from 2023. Again, this is from Ministry of External Affairs. But this year, in the coming year, which is in year 2024, whatever the numbers you are seeing here, it will not be the same, because this year a lot of international policies have been changed from the immigration department. We will see a dip in the numbers in 2024 across all these English speaking countries, to be specific. But when it comes to Europe, the demand has increased in the year 2024. Now, when we are talking about Europe, I am just not limiting to Germany here. This year we have seen the demand has increased towards Germany, France, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Latvia, so many more. So the demand has been increasing. It's not only because of international policies, but at the same time, the fees is quite lower. Some of the universities here in Germany and Italy, they also provide free education. Now, when you talk about free education, it is not for all the students, only the merit-based students. But even if you talk about the fees is very quite low, almost half of what other English speaking countries offer. But yes, there are also other pros when it comes to English speaking countries. But yes, whatever the numbers we have seen, the dip in 2024 because of the changes in the immigration policies, it will not remain consistent in 2025, because I think it is just an political, what I can say, failure, or maybe it's a political, what I can say, scenario that will stay at least for a year. Things will get back to normal in English speaking countries in 2025, but we just have to wait until the things go back to normal. So now we just wanted to focus here on the popular destination for UG and PG: USA, UK, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, Canada. So these were the countries which were much more popular for where the students used to actually go and study. Like as I earlier said, or with the stats what I have shown, this would not be the same scenario in the 2024, but things should definitely go back to these countries, or students will still tend to pursue in these countries because of the rankings, which we already spoke on the US and UK front. Right. So, so I'll just leave now Pratiksha to come ahead and go take this forward from here.
Hello everyone, I am Pratiksha Sabu and I am going to take you to the next slide. Absolutely, the key factor what a student and parent should consider when you're thinking to study abroad. So, first is academic aspirations. Academic goal helps students stay focused from their study abroad journey. For example, if you are doing your bachelor's in IT and आपने आपका future IT में सोचा है, so then doing masters in management is of no use. So when choosing to study abroad, it's not just about earning a degree. It's about setting academic goal that align where you want to be in your future. So let's have an example over here. So you will be completing your bachelor's at the age of 21, right? And you might complete your master's at the age of 23. So by the age of 25 or 27, you will get settled. And the retirement age is 65. So 40 years. ये 40 years में जो काम कर रहे हो आप, ये आपका इंटरेस्ट का होना चाहिए and you have to set this goal for the 40 years of your life. The next factor is internship and placement opportunities. Many universities offer placement opportunities, internship opportunities after you complete your academic course. So this internship can be paid or unpaid, but that values that is a valuable internship and it gives you work experience. So what happens during this internship? They start looking for a job. So when you doing this internship, you also start looking to the job. So if you're good fit for the particular job, you are taken on board from that particular company. So this makes internship a great way to gain experience and potentially secure a permanent position in that company. Tuition fees, the next factor, a student or a parent is going to look for the tuition fees. कि tuition fees क्या होनी चाहिए? So while looking for tuition fees, setting a budget is much more important. So how you are going to set your budget? You're going to look for tuition fees, your accommodation, your transportation, your living expenses, etc. So what happens when you will budget your tuition fees and all the expenses, you will narrow down the universities basically. For example, there are 4,000 universities in USA. And if you predetermined your budget, you are going to shortlist and narrow down with 1,000 of university which are offering your course. So next is cost of living and part-time jobs. Living cost in each country differs, covering accommodation, food, transportation, the other expenses. Student can offset this cost by doing part-time jobs. Many countries offer students part-time jobs, which is 20 hours a week. So 20 hours a week during your academic course. So the next question is, what type of part-time jobs are available? And are you willing to take that job? So the part-time jobs which are available is in restaurant, departmental stores, college libraries, laboratories, etc. So by balancing smart financial planning and part-time job, many students manage their living expenses independently and also become self-sufficient. English language test. So for entering any country, you will be requiring an English language test, which is mandatory. So it can be IELTS, PTE, Duolingo, TOEFL, etc. So now IELTS and TOEFL are accepted in all the English-speaking countries. Duolingo is specially accepted in UK. PTE is only accepted in UK, Australia. So whether it's IELTS, TOEFL or Duolingo test, acing this exam is a key to your admission, to secure your admission. So we will help you into each test format, giving you tips and tricks and help you prepare for this particular exam. Admission test, GRE and GMAT. So GRE and GMAT and SAT are the three admission tests. So as you all must be knowing, GRE is applied for engineering student, GMAT is for management student, and SAT is for bachelor student who is going for bachelor's. So, but one more thing, after COVID, it has been looked that GRE and GMAT ये बहुत universities ने waive off कर दिया है. But again, if you're looking for top level university, you have to give GRE and GMAT. Post study work visa. Have you heard about post study work visa? क्या होता है? Anyone of you? Many countries offer post-study work visa after your completion of your academic course. So this post-study visa is nothing but extension of your stay with your job. So this can range up to 1 to 4 year. So all the countries have different criteria of post-study work visa. So UK and Ireland offers post-study work visa up to 2 years. Australia offers post-study work visa up to 4 years. USA offers post-study work visa up to 3 years. And most of the European countries offer post-study work visa up to 1 to 2 year. And this eligibility of post-study work visa depends on your duration of study and what course you're doing. So if you're for example, अगर 1 साल का course होता है तो you won't get post-study work visa in Australia. If you're going for 2 years course in Australia, you will get post-study work visa. So it depends on what duration you're going for study. So this is a application life cycle where every student have to go around. So once you decide studying abroad, it's our responsibility to place you at the right place and at safe country. The first thing is one-to-one counseling. One-to-one counseling is nothing but your personal guide throughout your study abroad journey. It helps student to make informed decisions, removes their anxiety and saves the time, and also provides clarity what has to be done to the after this step. So we will help you navigate every step from choosing the right course to ensuring that you meet all admission requirements based on your strength and your dream. Next is country selection. As I said we help you selecting the right country based on factors such as work opportunities, career opportunities, what you're looking, work visa policies, your language, culture, budget. For example, if you're looking for any course in a tech related course, we will suggest you going for USA. So healthcare in Canada and so on. So choosing the right country is more than just is more than just looking for weather or culture. It's about finding a place that aligns with your career goal. Next is university shortlisting. A big question for every parent and student कि इतने सारे universities हैं, how we are going to shortlist this university. So we shortlist university depending on the factors such as ranking of the university, program strength, research opportunity, what you're going to get once you study, location, your campus culture, etc. So as a counselor, we shortlist university for you so that it saves your time, considering your budget, your academic goal, your academic score, and long-term career goal. With thousands of university worldwide, choosing one right university is overwhelming. So parents can also help student in shortlisting the university and narrow down the university. Scholarship assistance. There are thousands of university providing thousands of scholarships. So our role is to make you aware about that particular scholarships. So to secure this spot, बहुत students आते हैं कि मैम scholarships चाहिए. I'm giving you the live example कि we want scholarship. What should we do? So if you want to get scholarship, you have to be an early bird. You have to secure that spot, being an early bird, and you should be good in academics to secure the scholarships. Visa guidance. So once all this procedure is done, the next step is visa guidance. So once you have received the offer letter, we help you to fill the visa. We file the visa on behalf of the student. We assist in filing the visa and taking mock interviews for the visa. So there are interviews which are taken. So we help student to prepare for that particular interview and big book visa slots. Very important part in visa is looking for the financial documents. So we make sure your financial documents are proper, because this also, if the finances are not in a proper way, so then there is a chance of visa rejection. Financial assistance. Creating a financial plan is necessary for your study abroad journey. There are n number of loans in the market, secured loans and unsecured loan. So secured loan is against your property, and unsecured loan you will get up to 40 lakhs. So nowadays embassy doesn't want students to take 100% loan. So they want 25% of breakdown. So you at that time you have to show the savings of your parents so that the embassy can trust you. Acha, wahan jaane ke baad you have your parents behind, which they are having savings, so you can bear that cost. Post landing services. So once all the procedure is done, we arrange a orientation for our students who is going for the next intake. So in this orientation, we tell them about the do's and don'ts after going to the university, the registration with national insurance company, documents to be submitted. We also take care about the pick and drop. We ask the university for the student to pick and drop from airport to the university. Also, sometimes it also happens that the university tells us priorly that on this particular date we have our free pickup. So these are the post landing services where we help students. So your journey doesn't end when you land, it's just your beginning. From helping you find accommodation to getting you settled into new city, our services will make sure your transition is smooth and stress-free. The role of both parents and students in supporting their journey. Parents-child relationship. So what is the role of parent when your child is looking for studying abroad? Research partner. The parent can be a research partner for the student, for his child, so he can help him narrow down the universities, look for good career options like programs options, look for study destination where his or her child is suitable for the study, look for his accommodation, scholarships, courses, etc. He also can be a emotional support, which is very necessary nowadays. He can motivate his child, listening to their goals, discussing their fears, and help them to weigh pros and cons. Financial planning, obviously, this is to be done by the parent. Budgeting, what budget he has to keep, the living expenses, tuition fees, discussing options like loan or saving, kitna loan karna hoga, kitni savings humko batani hogi. So these are the points where a parent role is very important. And I would say find the balance. This is very important nowadays. Micromanaging can stifle independence, while too little involvement might feel like abundant student role. बहुत बार होता है as a parent, if we think, अगर हम ज्यादा भी अगर बच्चों को पीछे लगते हैं तो वो उनको पसंद नहीं आता है. बट अगर कम भी देते हैं, लाइक वी इफ वी वोंट इन्वॉल्व दैट मच, तो उनको लगता है कि ये ध्यान भी नहीं दे रहे. तो इसमें बैलेंस करना ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल हो गया है अभी. Independence, allowing children to make their own decisions. Obviously children can make their decisions, but your support is much more important. Decisions are to be taken by the children and parents simultaneously with the all parental role. Next slide. student loan, taking ownership of the process. Obviously, we are here to help you, but as a student, you have to take the ownership of this process, researching the university, scholarships, fees, living expenses. Open to communication with your parents, concerns, challenges, your progress, your support, etc. Learning independence, working part time, managing finances, cooking, handling academic deadlines, learning about new cultural experiences. So, these learning independence should start from now. वहां जाके तो करना है, बट यहाँ से इफ यू विल स्टार्ट लर्निंग तो वहां आपका काम ज्यादा इजी हो जाएगा. सो यू हैव टू look at your academics, you have to do part time, you have to cook yourself. So this is a student role when he is looking for overseas education. And obviously connections, joining university, social media groups, local Indian community. मुझे नहीं लगता इसके बारे में मुझे ज्यादा बोलने की जरूरत है. Once you get the offer letter, there are n number of groups, Instagram groups, Telegram group, WhatsApp groups, where there are people, there are students from same university sharing each other's knowledge. So I guess everyone is going to agree with me. Education is the most important investment one can ever make. But I think I would rest the slide. I think I would rest the slide to you, asking you the question: is education the most rewarding investment when you're looking for study abroad?
People who are online and in the room as well, please feel free to ask questions and answers. प्रतीक्षा जी, अमृत जी, आप बैठ सकते हैं. No questions. Does that mean everything was very clear?
Yes, you can.
People online, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. We can go through them one by one. Right now, we have a question here from the audience here. Which country is best for management studies? Amritji.
Right. So I think it is one of the most commonly asked questions. Okay. Now it completely depends. What sort of course have you completed in your bachelor's? Let's say that you have completed. Probably just want to ask you, what have you completed in your bachelor's? BBA. So now, after the completion of your management, like after the completion of your bachelor's in business administration, there are numerous options that you can choose from. Now, choosing an option, probably you can make up your mind. Now, best country depends on the return of investment what you are going to get. Now, there is no particular thing that this country is best or the other country is not the best. It all depends what is that you are going to look after 4 years or 5 years down the line. If return of investment is what you are looking at, then trust me, whichever the country you choose, all countries are going to provide you that. Now, if you're planning or asking me that will that course or will that country going to give me options further, then definitely I would. Usually, when it comes to management, we tend to tell people to go to an European country or to a country, let that be even can be UK to that matter. When it comes to IT or other courses, usually people have this kind of tendency. Anything that has got IT industry, for example, that can be USA or Ireland, that becomes the priority countries to go for. For management, yes, we cannot just conclude it here. We just want to understand more about from your end the courses and the your plans 5 years down the line or whatever it is, and accordingly we can choose the country. But for now, or the best country would be, or we would rather push the students to go to UK. Okay. Okay. So student exchange program is all about wherein the many of the students, what really happens, there are two countries with two different universities. Now what they do in such cases, they send the Indian students to overseas and they bring overseas students to India, wherein they want to make sure that, you how can you dwell with each other culture, each other education system. So it's all about getting an opportunity to stay in the other country, understand their education system, get used to it, and you become much more ready when you're planning to go for your masters. Okay, but yes, I believe that everyone should actually go for it. Probably we have someone I was just talking to here, Vipul Atal, who just sitting behind you. So he's currently pursuing his bachelor's in hotel management. So he also had a similar kind of thing regarding the internship. Okay, it was not an exchange program, but he made it a point to go to France and get the first hand experience over there. So now when he's actually planning for to go overseas in his masters, it will become much more easier for him to choose probably the course or even the country, because he has now understood how the things actually work there. He knows that okay, I can adapt to that kind of environment and plan around in the future career as a career. Yeah. No, you will be pursuing the same course. So now when you are going as a student exchange program, most of the universities will make you to learn the same modules what you are supposed to learn over here. Now only see, you cannot randomly go to any university, right? The university will only invite you as long as two universities are having an agreement. Now when they are having an agreement, that means the agreement is finalized based on the modules what they have, the common modules. In that case, the university will invite you to study or come down there and experience this only with the similar modules. As long as if you have applied outside the universities as an exchange program or as an short course, then that's a different story altogether.
There is an online question from one Mr. Kushal. He's saying that his CGPA score is 9.62 in information technology.
Okay.
Does he need to have anything more, or is there anything technically more required for him to look for an option abroad? Anything like research papers or any other guidance that you can talk about?
Wow. So correct. First of all, Kushal, I'm very glad to see that you have 9.6 GPA here. Now, what you have written is right. Yes, the GPA is anyways very much more important. English test is mandatory when you're planning to go overseas. That is very much required. Now, apart from this, based, let's say that you've completed your IT and you're planning to go for computer science. When you're planning to go for computer science, one thing they actually look at is the backlogs. So I consider it to be that you have no backlogs, being that you have scored so well. But the most important thing is, if at all you are looking for scholarship or some kind of bursary from the universities, or the merit based scholarship I'm talking about, in that case definitely you have to end up giving your GRE. Now GRE, so you have also written that you have done IT. I really want to understand if you have done your IT as an BSc IT, or you have done BTech in IT. If at all bachelor's, if you have done BTech in IT, which is of 4 years, trust me, most of the universities welcome, or at least the US universities welcome students with 4 years of education, wherein they'll make sure that you get BTech in IT. So yes, so you have completed your 4 years of education. Now, apart from those backlogs, what is much more required is your GRE. Now, if your GRE score is over and about 300 plus, trust me, most of the universities will come down to you with their offer letters, having you to join their university. So the more better SOP, the statement of purpose I'm talking about, you have better chances to get admitted in that particular university, for which we will guide you as we go on with the admissions.
Great. Okay. Any other questions coming from online?
Thanks. Yeah.
Hello. My question is related to like what is the ideal period, like while doing the undergrad we should go abroad or while doing the PG. Second question related to this, if student not having any profile like the great universities need, still student want to go, so what you will suggest in that case?
Okay. First, I will just get back to your first question. Is it ideal to go for undergraduation or post-graduation? I generally feel that, the students of India or the way we have been grown up upon, most of these parents do not want to send their students, even if they want to. And if you ask from our point of view, usually we tell them that, send your students only after graduation, send them for post-graduation so that their mindset is quite ready to adapt to a new culture. Anything, I'm not, if at all they have moved in and around foreign countries, and if you can sponsor your students, because it is not going to be cheaper. For 4 years of education we are going to spend somewhere around 80 lakhs to 1 cr. If that is under the budget, then I think yes, you can still think of going over there. But precisely when you're asking about whether the students are gets adapted to it very easily, we have seen no. We have seen most of the students going and even coming back as soon as they have landed there.
Correct.
I think your next question was if the student is not that great or average, right? And
Right.
still can he
Yeah.
make for overseas? I really feel, madam, I think every average student, like, as I said during my session, that I have been an average student, never scored above 65% in my graduation. So I think even those students should definitely go for overseas, because it is not only about return of investment. Any student who can come out of their comfort zone and look for jobs around by, there are plenty of jobs available. And forget about no jobs. Even if you talk about the education
Mhm.
system, it is far more different than what here it is in India. I would not say that, far more easier. Here it is much more focused from theoretical point of view. When it comes to foreign education, is more towards the practical point of view. Now practical education makes you much more job ready, and moreover, you need to do entire course in small presentation, so that becomes much more easier for the students, even if they have been an average student.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I
Thank you
hope
so
it's
much.
answered.
Thank you. Yeah.
Any more questions coming from the people online? Was there- You can raise your hand so we can unmute you, or you can type the question in your on the chat box, whatever works better. I'm presuming there aren't any more. The good part of that then is that we have more to talk about in the next 5 sessions. So maybe we
Yes.
look at it that way. All right. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe I can take over again. Pratiksha ji, Amrit ji, wonderful session, I would say, to kick off the entire series of sessions that we want to do. I think the intent of today's session was to get a sense of what it takes to start your study abroad journey. And some of your questions actually give us some more sense of what more we should talk about in the upcoming sessions. What we want to dwell upon in the upcoming sessions is about the cultural fitments. There were a couple of questions related to that, um, related to options in financing and scholarships that you talked about, or including the exchange programs. That's another area that we will be covering. We're also going to be talking about more specifically specific courses in specific regions where what is better to do, what are strengths in particular regions. So that's what we are looking at covering through the rest of the 5 sessions as we go through. culture becomes a very, very critical aspect. And I think both our speakers today have done a wonderful job of giving us a complete overview of how you can get started with your journey on studying abroad. So thank you so much once again.